In this video, I will present several frameworks. These are intended to give you an overview of what we will study in this class. To begin with, we will look at the story of the course. This outline roughly follows what we'll be studying in the coming weeks. Next, we take the story of the course and put it into a model that shows how the individual parts form the whole creative economy. Then we will turn to look at how Peter Drucker's concept of the knowledge economy relates to the creative industries. Finally, we will look at the UNCTAD model from the United Nations. This model includes all of the creative industries, and while there are many other models out there, this is the model of creative industries that we will use in this class. How will knowing this help you? Well, in at least two ways. First, it will give you some big picture frameworks that you can use for the course, and you will have a chance to see how the concepts we will study relate to each other. I call this the story of the course because it provides the logical connections between the sections of the class. People are first because they are the true source of creative outputs. Without people, there would be no creation. Hence, it's important to understand creativity and conditions that make it more likely to arise in people. We'll spend the first part of the class looking at people and creativity. Next is value. The creative outputs that people produce have value. First, there is an intrinsic value to creative output that we might experience as enjoyment, as when we listen to music or look at a painting or go to a movie. And second, there is the market value, such as the value for intellectual property that may be created. We'll study these issues in the second section of this class. Organizations are formed to enable people to create value. These organizations become the owners of the output value and develop and implement strategies to maximize their return on the creative value. We'll study several strategies organizations use to drive performance. Creative industries have arisen to enable the trade of the value created by organizations. We'll explore the structure of the creative industries and identify characteristics that define them. Finally, society interacts with industries to consume the value that organizations and ultimately people actually produce. And society itself is transformed as cities and regions coalesce around creative industries. We'll explore society's interaction with the creative industries. Here is another way of seeing the relationship between each layer of the creative economy. Creative people are at the center, and their creativity emanates outward like the ripples from a stone that is tossed in the water. From these people come creative outputs that produce value. These people are found in organizations of all sizes. Together, these organizations form industries that produce commerce based on value created by creative people. Ultimately, these industries are part of even larger elements of the cities and regions and even the society in which we live. These levels interact with each other in productive ways to form the creative economy. We'll study issues at each of these levels in this class. Here we are going to focus on the creative industries. Where do they fit in the grand scheme? According to Peter Drucker, we're living in a knowledge economy. By extension, we can say that within the knowledge economy there are knowledge industries that produce all of the value in the knowledge economy. These industries, as suggested by Drucker, are based on ideas and information. The application of knowledge, skills, and imagination drive the knowledge industries. The creative industries are a subset of the knowledge industries. They rely on knowledge, skills, and imagination. It might even be said that these industries are especially reliant on the imagination for their value. The creative industries can be categorized into four sectors: heritage, arts, media, and functional creations. Ultimately, what emerges from the creative industries are offerings whose very essence are ideas and information. Here we've drilled down further into a more detailed view of the creative industries. Let's look at the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development's UNCTAD model, which we will be using in this class. First up is the heritage sector, which is comprised of cultural sites and traditional cultural expressions. Next are the arts, visual and performing. The media sector contains publishing and print media, audio visuals, and new media. Finally, functional creations include design and the creative services like R&D. In each of these industry segments are companies and people producing creative content. We'll discuss cases about some of the companies throughout this course. In this presentation, we've looked at the story of the course, the concentric circles model of the story of the course, how Peter Drucker's concept of the knowledge economy relates to the creative economy, and the UNCTAD model of the creative industries, which we will study later in the course. Together, these ideas provide you with a big picture view and a sense of how the topics relate to each other. And that concludes this overview of the course concepts.